Imagine, if you will, Washington, D.C., 1867. The Civil War's wounds are still fresh. The nation's treasury is thin. The people are tired of war, tired of risk, tired of spending. And yet, in the quiet halls of power, a whisper begins to spread. A whisper about a land so far away, so frozen, that most Americans couldn't even point to it on a map. Alaska, owned by Russia, and for the right price, it could be ours. The man pushing the deal, Secretary of State William H. Seward. The man standing in his way, practically everyone else. The Russians were ready to sell. Their empire stretched thin, and Alaska was a liability. Thousands of miles away, impossible to defend against Britain's navy in nearby Canada. If war came, they'd lose it for nothing. Better to sell it to America. Price tag, $7.2 million. In today's money, about $140 million. Seward's aides balked. Senators called it insanity. Newspapers mocked it as Seward's Folly and Seward's Icebox. Why waste millions on a frozen wasteland when cities in the South still lay in ruins? But Seward saw something they didn't. Strategic ports on the Pacific, vast timber, mineral wealth waiting to be uncovered, a land that could serve as America's shield in the north. Still, opposition mounted. A group of senators quietly met in a smoke-filled parlor, plotting to stall the vote until the Russians withdrew their offer. Some of these senators had received gifts from British envoys, subtle reminders that Britain would prefer Alaska stay in Russian hands rather than American. If the deal failed, Britain's influence in the Pacific would grow, and America's would shrink. One night, Seward's ally, a young clerk, slipped into his office with a message. The note read, "They have the votes to kill it. You must act now." Seward didn't hesitate. That very night, he summoned the Russian minister, Edward de Stuckel, to his home. Candles flickered. Rain lashed the windows. The clock ticked past midnight. "Sign it now," Seward urged, leaning across the table. "If we wait until morning, there will be no deal to sign." De Stuckel hesitated, then dipped his pen. In the early hours of March 30th, 1867, the Alaska Treaty was signed. The Senate vote came weeks later. The debate was venomous. One senator called Alaska a polar bear garden, another an empty coffin for taxpayer dollars. But Seward, working behind the scenes, twisted arms and cut deals. When the final tally was read, 37-2, the treaty was ratified. By just a handful of votes, Alaska was America's. At first, the mockery continued. Political cartoons showed icebergs draped in the stars and stripes. People said Seward had thrown money into the snow, but Seward kept his silence because he knew time would prove him right, and it did. Gold, timber, fish, copper. Then, in 1968, the crown jewel, the massive Prudhoe Bay oil fields. Alaska became a military stronghold during World War II and the Cold War, guarding the northern approach to America. Seward's Folly turned into one of the greatest land bargains in history. 586,000 square miles for less than 2 cents an acre. It's tempting to believe history is inevitable. But this deal almost never happened. A single night's delay, one more bribe in the right pocket, and Alaska might still belong to another flag. This has been What You Weren't Told. Share this story with someone who thinks history is boring. Like and subscribe. It motivates us to create more stories like this one. And I'll leave you with this. If America hadn't bought Alaska, whose soldiers would be standing on that ice today?